Hello, everyone, and welcome to Everyday English with Johnny. I'm your host, Johnny, and I'm absolutely thrilled to dive into a topic that could completely transform the way you speak English. Whether you're a beginner just learning the basics, an intermediate learner stuck in a plateau, or an advanced speaker aiming to sound more natural, this episode is designed to help you achieve that native-like fluency you've always dreamed of.
And I'm Rose, your co-host. Johnny, today's topic is so exciting. Speak English like a native, your daily microhabits. Have you ever heard a native speaker talk and wondered, how do they make it sound so effortless? I've always wanted to capture that natural flow, but years of studying grammar books didn't get me there. It felt like something was missing.
Oh, Rose, I know exactly what you mean. Sounding like a native isn't about memorizing every rule or word. It's about adopting the rhythm, tone, and casual phrases natives use every day. Today we're exploring why traditional methods often fall short, the power of tiny micro-habits, and specific daily routines you can start to sound more natural. We'll share our own stories to make it relatable and give you practical tips to try right away.
That's right. We'll cover the unspoken truth about native English, morning immersion techniques, midday practice ideas, evening polish and play, and how to adopt a native speaker mindset. We'll keep it simple, fun, and packed with phrases you can practice to build fluency. Plus, we'll include moments to pause and try things out. Ready to sound like a native, Johnny?
Let's do it, Rose. We'll guide our listeners through this journey with actionable steps and personal experiences. Grab a notebook or your phone to jot down notes, find a comfy spot, and let's start building those micro habits to transform your English into something that sounds effortlessly native.
Johnny, let's kick things off with the big question. Why do so many learners, even after years of study, struggle to sound like native English speakers? What's the unspoken truth we're missing here?
Great question, Rose, and it's something every English learner faces at some point. The truth is, traditional methods like endless grammar drills, vocabulary flashcards, or textbook dialogues often fail to teach the natural flow of native speech. Native speakers don't think about conjugating verbs or perfect sentence structure. They focus on rhythm, tone, and using phrases that feel instinctive. It's less about rules and more about the vibe of the language.
I totally get that. When I started learning English, I spent months memorizing verb tenses and sentence patterns. But when I tried talking to native speakers, I sounded stiff, like I was reading from a script. My aha moment came when I overheard a conversation at a cafe. Someone said, "No big deal, I'll catch you later." And it hit me. Natives use short, casual phrases that textbooks rarely teach.
That's exactly it, Rose. I had a similar experience when I visited London a few years ago. I was ordering coffee and used my textbook phrase, "I would like a coffee, please." The barista smiled, but replied with, "Sure, what can I get you?" It was so relaxed and natural, and I realized I needed to learn those everyday phrases to blend in. That's where micro habits come in. Small daily actions that help you adopt the flow and rhythm of native speech without overwhelming you.
I love the idea of microhabits. They sound so manageable. Can you explain what they are and why they're so powerful for sounding native?
Absolutely. Microhabits are tiny intentional actions you do every day, like practicing one phrase or mimicking a native's tone for just 5 minutes. These small steps build up over time, creating a compound effect. For example, spending a few minutes daily copying how natives stress words can make your speech sound more natural in weeks, without the stress of long study sessions.
That's so inspiring. I started using micro habits last year, like repeating phrases from movies, and it made a huge difference. Once I copied "What's the deal?" from a sitcom, and when I used it with a friend, they thought I'd been practicing for years. Let's practice a native-like phrase to get started. Repeat after me. "No worries, I got this."
No worries, I got this. It feels so natural and cool.
Listeners, pause the video right now and say that phrase 3 times out loud. Feel the casual vibe. It's your first step to sounding native. Write it down or try it with a friend today. Okay, Johnny, let's move to morning habits to kickstart the day with that native flair. Johnny, mornings are my favorite time to set the tone for the day. How can we use them to build native-like fluency, especially for busy people like me?
Mornings are perfect for immersing yourself in native English because they're a fresh start. The first micro habit is mirror talk. Spend 5 to 10 minutes talking to yourself in the mirror using idiomatic expressions like piece of cake for easy or hit the spot for something satisfying. It builds confidence, helps you practice pronunciation, and gets your tongue comfortable with native phrases.
I tried Mirror Talk and it's so fun. Every morning while brushing my teeth, I say phrases like, it's all good or let's roll. It makes me feel less shy about speaking out loud, and I'm already using those phrases in real conversations. What's your experience with it?
I love mirror talk too. I started doing it before work, practicing phrases like keep it real while looking in the mirror. At first I felt silly, but after a week it felt natural, and I noticed my speech sounded smoother when talking to colleagues. It's like warming up your voice for the day.
That's awesome. What's another morning habit we can try?
Next up is Audio Boost. Spend 10 to 15 minutes listening to a native podcast or news clip during breakfast or your morning routine. Apps like BBC Sounds, NPR, or even Spotify have short episodes with clear, natural English. Pay attention to how natives stress words or use casual phrases like you know or kinda. I listen to a podcast called Morning Edition while eating, and I've picked up phrases like what's up that I now use without thinking.
I'm a podcast fan too. I listen to the daily while making coffee, and it's helped me learn phrases like long story short for summarizing ideas. It feels like I'm eavesdropping on native conversations. What's the third morning habit?
The vocabulary scavenger hunt. Each morning, pick one new native phrase from your environment, like a song lyric, a billboard, or a social media post, and use it in a sentence. For example, I saw grab a bite on a restaurant sign and practiced saying, let's grab a bite later. By the end of the day, it felt like part of my vocabulary.
That sounds like a game. I found chill out in a pop song and used it in a sentence like, I told my friend to chill out when she was stressed. It stuck with me and now I use it all the time. Let's practice a morning phrase for Mirror Talk. Repeat after me. It's a piece of cake.
It's a piece of cake. So easy and native-like.
Listeners, pause the video right now and say that phrase 3 times in front of a mirror. Feel the rhythm and confidence. Try using it today in a sentence like, this task is a piece of cake. Share your sentence in the comments. Okay, Johnny, let's move to midday habits to keep the momentum going. Johnny, midday can be busy with work or school, but I want to keep practicing to sound native. What micro habits can we fit into lunch breaks or short pauses?
Midday is perfect for quick, focused practice that keeps you in the native zone. The first habit is contextual conversations. Pick a real-life scenario like ordering food or asking for directions, and practice 3 to 5 native responses for 5 minutes. For example, instead of saying, please give me a sandwich, try, can you make it quick? Or, can I get it to go? It's about using phrases natives actually say.
I tried that at lunch. I practiced ordering, can I get a coffee to go? And make it quick, please. After a few days, I used it at a cafe and the barista didn't blink. I felt like a native. How did you use this habit, Johnny?
I practiced workplace phrases, like let's touch base later for meetings. I did it during my lunch break, and when I used it in a real meeting, my boss said I sounded so professional. It's amazing how 5 minutes can make a difference. What's the next midday habit?
I'm excited for this one. Tell us more.
The second habit is shadowing sentences. Watch a short video clip like a YouTube vlog or a TikTok and mimic the speaker's intonation, stress, and rhythm for 5 to 7 minutes. Focus on how they emphasize words, like saying, that's awesome, with energy. I shadowed a comedian's clip and learned to stress hilarious in a way that made my friends laugh.
Shadowing is one of my favorites.
I mimicked a TV host saying, "What a blast!" and it helped my tone sound more natural. I practiced during my lunch break, and now I use that phrase all the time. What's the third midday habit?
It's the 1 minute monologue. Take 1 to 2 minutes to describe your lunch, surroundings, or what you're doing in English, using descriptive native words like yummy, cozy, or super chill. I did this at a park, saying, "This sandwich is super tasty and the breeze feels so nice." It helped me think like a native on the spot.
I love that. I described my lunch. This salad is fresh and delicious, and the cafe is so cozy. It made me notice details and use new words. Let's practice a shadowing phrase. Repeat after me. That was awesome.
That was awesome! Sounds full of energy.
Listeners, pause the video and say that phrase 3 times with the same excitement you'd hear in a video. Try shadowing a clip today and share what you learned in the comments. Okay, let's move to evening habits to polish our skills. Johnny, evenings are when I wind down. How can we use this time to polish our English and make it sound more native in a fun way?
Evenings are perfect for relaxed, playful practice that cements your progress. The first habit is interactive storytelling. Spend 5 to 10 minutes recapping your day in English, using native slang or phrases like hang out, call it a day, or no biggie. I did this saying I hung out with friends and had a blast, and it made my speech feel so natural.
I tried storytelling too. I recapped my day. Work was hectic, but I called it a day early and chilled. It helped me use slang without overthinking. It's like telling a story to a friend. What's the next evening habit?
Spot the native listening. Watch a favorite English show or movie for 10 to 15 minutes and listen for colloquialisms like no big deal or take it easy. Write down 1 or 2 and try them the next day. I watched Friends and caught chill out, then used it with a coworker. It was a hit.
I love that game. I watched a sitcom and spotted take it easy when a character was stressed. I used it with a friend and they smiled, saying I sounded so cool. What's the last evening habit?
The pronunciation playbook. Focus on one tricky sound like the th in think versus this, or connected speech like saying gonna instead of going to for 5 minutes. I practice th sounds by repeating thanks and thought, and now I nail them in conversations.
I struggled with gonna sounding natural, but practicing it at night made it flow. Now I say, I'm gonna grab coffee, like a native. Let's practice a colloquial phrase. Repeat. Take it easy.
Take it easy. So relaxed and native.
Listeners, pause and say that phrase 3 times out loud. Try using it tonight in a sentence like, I'm gonna take it easy this evening. Share your sentence in the comments. Okay, let's talk about adopting a native speaker mindset. Johnny, habits are great, but how do we adopt a mindset to truly sound like a native? It feels like it's more than just practice.
You're so right, Rose. The mindset is key to unlocking that native vibe. First, embrace imperfection. Native speakers aren't perfect. They use like, or make small mistakes, but they focus on getting their message across. I used to stress about perfect grammar, but now I aim to sound natural, like saying stuff instead of things in casual chats.
That's so freeing. I was terrified of mistakes, but then I noticed natives say things like, I messed up, no biggie. I started saying no big deal even if my sentence wasn't flawless and people understood me perfectly. It boosted my confidence.
That's the spirit. The second part is consistency over intensity. Micro habits work because small daily actions compound into big results. I used to cram for hours, but switching to 10 minutes daily, like practicing one phrase, gave me better fluency than intense sessions.
Consistency changed everything for me too. I practiced 5 minutes a day, and after a month, I was using idioms like piece of cake, without thinking. It felt automatic. How do we keep the momentum going long term?
The third part is celebrating small wins to maintain your native journey. Every new phrase you use, every time you sound more natural, is a victory. I celebrated when I used hit the nail on the head correctly in a conversation. It felt like a milestone. Keep a journal to track these wins, and your motivation will soar.
I celebrated understanding a movie without subtitles last week. It was huge. I wrote it in my journal and it kept me going. Let's practice a mindset phrase. Repeat after me. I'm learning to sound natural every day.
I'm learning to sound natural every day. So empowering and true.
Listeners, pause and say that phrase 3 times out loud. Write down one small win you've had this week, like using a new phrase, and share it in the comments. It's all about progress, not perfection. Wow, Johnny, what an inspiring episode. From morning immersion to a native mindset, our listeners are ready to sound like native speakers with these micro habits.
Totally agree, Rose. If you love this episode, subscribe to Everyday English with Johnny on YouTube. Hit the bell icon to get notified about our weekly episodes full of practical English tips.
We want to hear from you. Comment below, what micro habit will you start today, or share a native phrase you've learned recently. We'll reply and cheer you on.
Check out our other videos on Everyday English with Johnny for more tips on speaking, vocabulary, and building fluency the fun way.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Everyday English with Johnny for daily challenges, quick phrases, and a supportive community to share your progress.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Start your micro habits today and let's sound like natives together. See you on the next episode.
Bye for now. Your journey to native-like English starts right now.